Right now. I am live. This is Wednesday. Let's talk boxing with Jasmine K. I'm your girl, Jasmine K. Right now, I am also live on Instagram at Agent J Knows, but I'm only accepting live chats through YouTube and I'm accepting callers through Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, go to YouTube, Jasmine K Boxing, and join me live there. All right. So if you comment on this thread, I'm not reading it. You got to go to YouTube if you want me to read it. All right, Jasmine K Boxing. That's how we doing it. That's how we did it last Wednesday, and it worked out super well. So yeah, let's keep the motion going, okay? Let's keep the motion going. I thought by now, excuse me, I thought by now we would have had the test results from Ryan. The B sample. Okay, we got somebody in YouTube live. The boxing menu podcast plus. Okay. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day. We are on par for our usual weekly talk. Like I said, I would have thought that we would have had news as to what's going on with the B sample for Ryan Garcia, and that has not surfaced yet. Maybe I'm a little bit ahead of the curve in expecting for it to be done now. I'm not they're testing that in New York, so it should be right Eastern time. But nonetheless, whatever, we'll continue to wait. This week, we have Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall for their rematch. This time, I think that I am giving Jack Catterall the edge. Now, originally, just yesterday, I was saying that Josh Taylor, I gave him the edge in that match, and only because I felt like he had the bigger chip on his shoulder, meaning that he had the more to prove. Um, Feeling that he had, despite the devastating loss that he suffered to Teofimo Lopez, I thought that, he gave it his all. In comparison to Jack Catterall's last fight versus Linares, I thought that Josh Taylor, put up better effort. Um, Jack Catterall, let me backtrack. He did get the win. He did get the win against Linares, but it did go all 12 rounds. And what I think most of us thought that he could have got Linares out of that fight much sooner. As a result of the loss that Linares suffered, he decided to make that his last fight and he retired. So I wasn't too high on Catterall's performance. Catterall only suffering a loss to Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor only suffering a loss to Teofimo Lopez. I did feel like, Josh Taylor I didn't think that he had a lot more to lose. I don't think that Josh Taylor is at the end of his career. I can see how a lot of people would feel that way given how the fight ended against Teofimo, and Teofimo completely dominated him. Completely dominated him. So I can see how maybe a lot of people may feel as though he's towards the end. But I think, it just wasn't his fight. Styles make fights, and Teofimo Lopez is extremely athletic. We know this about him. I feel as though, I'm coming back over here. If you want me to acknowledge your chat, you have to go to YouTube at Jasmine K Boxing, subscribe and chat in that box in this live feed, because I am not looking at Instagram. I want you guys to go over to YouTube, and that's where I want to solely base this stream off of. Instagram, I'm using that for the sake of having live callers and just a few. So if you're just now getting into this, I did pin my message in that chat, and I said that chat live on YouTube at Jasmine K Boxing. So go ahead and go over there so that your chat can be read there. Yeah. So usually we start at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Today we did 8 p.m. Eastern time. Hopefully that still works for majority of you guys. But anyways, like I was saying, back to the Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall fight. I'm gonna come back to that, Victor. Okay, put a pin in it. What was I saying? I was talking about a lot of people feeling as though Josh Taylor's at the end of his career. I mean, he had a tough fight against Teofimo. As I was saying, Teofimo is I put him for pound best at 140 right now. I don't see anyone in the super lightweight division beating him. You know, granted that he gets the opportunity to fight these guys, these top guys, the top names, the Devin Haney's, Ryan Garcia's. Who else? I mean, we all know who's in that weight class. Regis, arguably, is he still at the top? I think so. I think he still makes for good fights going forward. You know, you have Tank and Shakur still at the lightweight division that maybe in a couple of years they'll step up to super lightweight. But you have Rolly, you got Pitbull. There's a lot of great fights that could be made. And given all the guys that are currently in the super lightweight division, I do feel like Teofimo is the pound for pound best. So, with that being said, I do not think that Josh Taylor is at the end of his career because he suffered the loss in the fashion that he did to Teofimo. I think still there is a lot to prove for him, solely for that purpose, that he's not at the end of the road, that he still has a lot more to give. And I think coming into this fight, maybe what wouldn't give him the edge is that if he's coming in thinking that I already beat Jack Catterall and this is going to be an easy fight, I think he has another thing coming. I do give Jack Catterall the edge now, and going back and watching the tape, I feel as though Jack Catterall did a lot of good things. And if he could just stick to those things and really target them a little bit more, I think that he will come out on top in this rematch. Two things that I think that, or three things I'll say, that he needs to focus on, and that is being more aggressive, being the aggressor. I felt like in the first matchup between those two, he fought too much on the back foot. You could tell both guys were looking to counter and they were looking to time the jab with the left hand. And I feel at times, Catterall just allowed for Josh Taylor to kind of back him up. And we all know in a close fight, the aggressor is the one that gets the edge. They're the ones that are usually up on the scorecards. So I feel like coming into this fight, I would like to see him keep the fight in the center of the ring if possible. If he finds himself backtracking along the ropes, I want to see him turning Josh Taylor a lot more. The second thing is, I thought at times, oftentimes, he was using the jab as a probing jab. Wasn't necessarily having a lot of offensive intentions behind that jab and throwing the jab. And when he did, the jab landed. He was able to go through the guard, the high guard of Josh Taylor. So I feel like I would like for him to focus a little bit more on the jab and working behind the jab and setting the left hand a little bit up, a little better behind the jab than what he did in the first one, or at least the glimpses of what he showed us in the first one. I want him to do it more and be more consistent throughout the second matchup. Jack Catterall, in my opinion, from watching the tape, he's not a high volume puncher. He has 2 to 3 combinations that he throws, and it's not even in spurts. It's just not as often. So I would like to see him work behind that jab a little bit more. Be more offensively intentional with the jab and not just using it as a probing jab and not just sticking it out there so he can line up the left hand, but actually using it, because when he uses it, it's effective. The third thing is targeting the body. I felt as though when he went to the body of Josh Taylor, he landed cleanly, and Josh Taylor didn't like it. In times where he went to the body, Josh Taylor went to basically making a fight in the pocket. And Jack Catterall is not a guy that wants to fight Josh Taylor in the pocket because that's where he's in the most control. That's where he thrives at. And it's just not his game. So those are my things going into that fight. Let me know what you guys think. And we'll actually move on after I read a couple of these comments. Victor Wiggins, sup Jasmine, enjoying your channel. Quick question. You think Wilder will knock out Zane? I think that is possible. I think that is possible. In the last fight we saw Zane, he gassed out pretty early. He had some good offensive spurts, but after that it was kind of like, where's he at? What happened? Where'd he go? So I think there's definitely opportunities for Wilder to knock him out. I think Wilder still has that, that he still packs a punch, and I think he's still a threat with that right hand. So, giving away that Zane fought his last fight against Parker, I think that is very much possible for him to knock out Zane. But we'll see. We'll see. We got to see what the punch resistance is for Wilder, because given his last matchup, I think it was a little suspect. And Zane is still, he's a power puncher. We're talking about the heavyweights. So Zane he has the potential to knock out Wilder. So I think it's a matter of, who has the best gas tank, who comes in more conditioned, who, I don't want to say who works behind the jab more, because neither one of these guys are known for the jabs. They're really just trying to set up the power shot. So whoever has the best punch resistance and is the best condition, I think is who's going to win. And I think it's possible for us to get a knockout either way. Let's see, what else do we have? Again, for everybody that is on Instagram, if you want me to read your chats, your comments, go over to YouTube, Jasmine K Boxing, and enter the chat that way, and I'll go ahead and answer your questions. All right, let's see what else we got over here. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. You heard about Tyson Fury and Usyk saying they lost $120 million because people use fire sticks. Laughing emojis, crying emojis. Yeah, I definitely saw that. I think it was like over 20 million streams that were streamed illegally that cost them over $120 million in rights. It's unfortunate. I think that unfortunately it comes with the territory. I think, to that comment is where I will weigh in more towards having at least, maybe not even a central network that we can stream all of the fights from, but having a couple of streaming networks and not multiple. Right now, like, there's so many different streaming platforms, there's so many different ways for you to watch boxing that you either have to subscribe or you have to subscribe and pay for the pay-per-view. And I think right now we are arguably in a recession. The inflation rate is super high. I know, being in Atlanta, in the state of Georgia, inflation is real here. Since the pandemic, a lot of people have been affected. So I wonder where these numbers compare within the last 5 years as to if the streaming illegally has gone up or if it's about the same. If I had to guess, because it's been brought to our attention, it's been such a big deal, it's probably gone up. But like I said, it comes with the territory. It's to be expected. It sucks. It definitely does suck. It's a lot of money that's left off the table for the fighters, for the networks, for the promoters, for the people that are involved behind the scenes, and the list goes on. Hopefully we can get to a solution to figure out how to minimize the amount of illegal streams. And that's all I'll say with that. Okay, Mike is in here. What's up, Mike? What's up? I'm going to allow for some of you guys to go live pretty soon. So if you want to chat live, chat with me on Instagram. If you just want to tune in and want to share your comments, your thoughts, and you want me to read it, come to YouTube, okay? Let's see what else we got. Haney the best at 140. Tiafimo really lost to Jermaine. Jermaine or Jermaine? The R gets me. Let me take a moment before I respond to this one. I think if Devin Haney went up against Tiafimo today, I think that Tiafimo beats Devin Haney. And I think Tiafimo beats Devin Haney because the athleticism, like, is a huge factor to me. He has more power than Devin. He's more creative with his punch selection. He's more accurate with his punch selection and his punch placement. He uses the ring exceptionally well. His ring IQ is exceptionally well. He's fought every style at this point, and if he wasn't comfortably winning the fight, he has the one loss to Kambosos, but for the most part, he's been able to figure out his opponents, and he's been in there with some of the best. So, not to say that Haney hasn't been in there with some of the best as well, but I think that Tiafimo has a little bit more to his game that gives him the benefit, it gives him the edge in going up against a guy like Devin Haney. Right now, the biggest question mark, I know that with the whole allegations with Ryan Garcia potentially cheating, we already got the sample A that basically tells us that, he did cheat it, but we're waiting for sample B. Those things do play a factor. And please do not mistake the severity of, the cause of him taking performance enhancers that gave him the extra edge in his fight, because it does matter, on top of the fact that he came in overweight. But to be fair to what everyone is saying, right? He cannot defend the left hand. Once Loma caught heat of that, he couldn't defend it, and it just was a little bit too late for Loma because he got started in the later rounds. But Devin Haney did not do a good job of defending the left hand. Now, granted, he was able to, in those middle rounds, outbox Ryan Garcia. He was able to get up on the scorecards against Ryan Garcia, but it doesn't negate the fact that he wasn't able to defend the left hand. And this goes back to the type of fighter that Devin Haney is. Is he a guy that has to come into a fight super prepared and has to have a strategy, or is he able to make the adjustments, go to his corner, and this is another opponent, can his corner properly coach him and give him the adjustments so that he can come back out and make those adjustments in real time? So there's two things there. Is he capable of reading it and doing it on his own? And is he capable, if he can't read it on his own, receiving the instructions from his corner, going back inside the ring, starting the round, and being able to implement it then? Based on what we saw against Ryan Garcia, the answer is no. So take out the power of Ryan Garcia. The blatant truth that is there is that he can't defend the left hand, whether it's a southpaw or orthodox fighter. Now, because of that, I go back to if he goes up against Tiafimo. Tiafimo is a guy who I think has the IQ that is able to read. That's the athleticism in him. He's able to read and he's able to react immediately. He's very explosive. I think all those things give Devin Haney right now a problem. Now, if Devin Haney comes in with the right strategy, he's able to take away Tiafimo's strengths, then I give the edge to Devin Haney. But based on what we saw against Ryan Garcia, who is not a better fighter than Tiafimo, I think that Tiafimo wins. And that's why I put him for pound at 140. So y'all let me know what you think about that. Thrill, I'm sorry I had to bust your bubble. All right, let's see. What else we got? Haney ain't the best at 140. He's 1-1 at 140. Smash that like button. Please do so. Thank you, the Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. I appreciate the support. I'm new here. Who is your favorite boxer? I don't per se have a favorite boxer, but I have a couple of guys that I really do enjoy watching. I actually have a few guys. I would say my favorite division right now is the super lightweight division. Between that and the super middleweight division, those are my two favorites. So I'm not going to say a favorite fighter. I'll just leave it at that. Let's see. What else we got? It's Jermaine. Okay, got it. Loma has those advantages you just said Tio has. Yeah, but Loma, for whatever reason, like I said, Haney is the type of guy that maybe could come in and he really has to focus on strategy. But I think that at this particular time between Loma and Teofimo, current day, Teofimo has the ability to react and respond quicker than Loma does. Now, if we went back a couple of years ago for Loma, then I would argue the same case. But we're talking about today, 2024. Teofimo, in my opinion, has the ability to respond and react at a much quicker pace than what Loma does. Now, when we talk about the fight versus Ortiz and how he couldn't cut off the damn ring, I honestly don't know what was going on because Teofimo has cut off the ring before. So I don't know. When I think back to that fight and when I dissected it, it wasn't that he just wasn't able to cut off the ring with his feet, but it was like he wasn't throwing the right punches to keep Ortiz in front of him. And I don't know if that was because he was gun shy. I don't know what the problem was because, again, we've seen Teofimo do this before. So, yeah. Let's see what else you guys had to say. Sander and Ortiz was whooping on bro, and I like Tio. Like I said, Tio, to me, is the best in the division. I was listening to Chris Algieri earlier this week speak on Alexander Usyk, and he was saying how Usyk has struggled at both cruiserweight and heavyweight, but the thing that puts him past everybody else is his ability to figure it out. That he can be the winner at the end of the day. And struggle. And I agree with him in what he said versus about Usyk. And in this same scenario, yeah, Teofimo may have ran into some walls against Ortiz. Yeah, he may have ran into some walls against Sandor Martin. But at the end of the day, against those two particular guys, he figured it out. So I think, and I give him the credit to being able to figure it out versus Haney. Now, I'm not saying that Haney's not one of the division, but I'm just saying I have Tio above Haney. Tio 1, Haney 2. How about that? Let's see. Teofimo can knock out Haney at his best, though. Yeah. And I give that credit to his punch placement and the angles that he's able to create and the way he's able to set up his shots, which again to me goes towards his IQ and his ring IQ. Knowing where he's at inside of the ring to set up those shots and also knowing and being able to read his opponent quicker. Those are the things that I credit to him being able to pull out the win versus Haney. Prime Zab. Mac McKenzie said Prime Zab Judah versus Devin Haney. Who wins at 140? That's a tough one right there. I'm going to say, based on what we saw, Devin Haney against Ryan Garcia. Ryan Haney made it all 12 rounds versus Ryan. A bigger Ryan Garcia, a Ryan who potentially may have had another advantage in, you know, his training camp and how he prepared for that fight and the substances that he took, allegedly. And he still was able to get back up and still continue to fight. And even with being rocked in the early, it was the first, second round, still being able to outbox Garcia in those middle rounds. At this point, we all have said, okay, Haney has a suspect chin. He got a soft chin. But at the end of the day, he still got back up from going up against Ryan Garcia. So I say all that to say that if we got a prime Zab Judah versus a prime Devin Haney, I'm going to give Devin Haney the edge because at this point, he's proven to me that he can take your best punch. He can take your power. Now, when he took the power early in the fight, he was able to continue to box. Zab Judah, we know the thing with him was his conditioning. So I feel like because of that, that's why I'm going to give Devin Haney the edge. Even if he gets rocked by Zab Judah, I think that he can get back on his bike and he can get back to boxing and he can outbox Zab Judah. I don't think Zab Judah is the type of fighter, from what I've seen, that would turn the fight, the boxing match into a fight, and Devin Haney will be in trouble then. So that's my opinion on that one. Let's see. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Do you like, I cannot pronounce his first name, Inoue. Was it Nahoya Inoue? Yeah, I'm definitely a fan. I mean, how can you not be a fan? He's a very big fighter. I saw him get near show us a game. I don't know. Snap it and that, like, pulled himself together, really took control of the fight, and after that, what's going on? My stream is messing up. You guys let me know if the stream is messing up. Bad. Definitely. Okay. Mike, that wasn't the only thing he couldn't do. I'm a little behind, Mike. What you referring to? What you referring to, Thrill? The fact that he couldn't defend the left hand? Okay. You think Tio could beat Tank? Nah, I think I got Tank winning that fight. Tio's the bigger guy, but I think Tank's the better fighter. A lot of us forget because we look at Tank's power so much and we look for the knockout and we look for the action in his fights that we forget how, how strong his IQ is and his ring IQ is as well. So I think Tank beats Teofimo. White said, I got Tank knocking Tio out. I can see that. Teofimo got a confidence builder coming up as well. Does he? What you know? Thrill, that we don't know. Slow grind. You like a Ryan versus Kambosos fight? Not really. I think Ryan wouldn't show Kambosos any respect at all. And I think it would be an ugly fight for Kambosos. Especially because Ryan is so much bigger than Kambosos. And then you also have to think that Kambosos is still fighting at lightweight. And Ryan can't even make super lightweight. So, yeah, I don't know if we ever see that fight. If you guys are tuning in on Instagram, go ahead and do me a favor. Okay, I see the stream was messing up. I think it's back good now. But go over to YouTube, Jasmine K Boxing and join me there. If you guys say that it's still messed up on YouTube, I'll kind of go back and forth between the streams and answering questions. Okay, let's see. What else we got? Mac McKenzie. Usyk just be a talented Fury who outweighed himself by 40 pounds, while Devin couldn't be a one-trick pony. Ryan Garcia, who outweighed himself by 3 pounds. Devin is a very good fighter, but not a great one. You know, these are the fights that help fighters develop, that helps them become even better. Hopefully, Haney has been able to learn from the fight versus Ryan Garcia. He's been able to learn from the fight versus Lomachenko. In that he comes back better and stronger. There's definitely some things in his game that he has to go back and he has to work on. We haven't heard much about his corner and if he's added any trainers, if he's taken away any trainers from his corner. But I think it would serve him well to add some additional people to his corner that can properly develop him as he continues to climb up the ranks, because the fights are just going to get tougher. You know, there's a lot of tough guys at the super lightweight division. There's a lot of different styles in the super lightweight division. There's going to be guys that he goes up against that has the power like Ryan, if not more. We're talking about Matias. Matias is a guy that we know has power. He does not. He wants the fight to take place in the inside. He's relentless in walking you down. And, you know, like I said, as Haney continues to climb up in the ranks, the fights are only going to get tougher. And he's going to find himself in fights that he's going to have to fight. And he's not going to be able to box. What myself is learning, and I think what he just learned versus Ryan Garcia. So we'll see. But I think he still has time to sharpen his tools, to develop a little bit more, to become better. So, you know, I think he's peaking. I think we can arguably say that he's peaking into his prime, but he may have another notch to him. We just have to wait and see. Okay, the stream is definitely messing up. Damn. Okay, it's good now. It's up and down, basically. All right, with that being said, I will definitely be more active on Instagram since YouTube is messing up, and I'll read you guys' comments on both. But okay. Thrill said, Teofimo fighting Steve. I hate calling fighters trash, but he is. I'm not even familiar with this guy. White said he's going to have to stick to his style, sit behind his jab. He is not a good fighter at all. You know, subject to opinions, subject to opinions. Let's see what else we got. It's been good for like 10 minutes. Oh, damn. Okay. Do I think Matias can beat Tank? No. I don't think Matias can beat Tank. I think Tank has power as well. But again, we're talking about two different weight divisions. We're talking about lightweight versus super lightweight. 135 versus 140. So not until Tank step up to 140 will I honestly assess that fight. Yeah. But I think he has the power and he has the ability to beat Matias. I think Matias gives him a similar fight that Pitbull gave him. And, you know, even that one's subject to debate as to if he won it with him having an injured hand, you know, what that would have looked like if he didn't have it, and what it looked like with him having the injured hand and barely being able to beat Pitbull. But I think he gives him a very similar fight, and I think since then, Tank has definitely matured as a fighter. He's gotten better, and at the end of the day, he still has power as well. So I think that power would translate if he was to fight Matias. And I think also the biggest thing is his ability to counter punch. Tank is a much smarter fighter than Matias. And I think Tank would set Matias up for a lot of counters. Like he would bait him in. And yeah, I'm gonna say Tank. Okay, let's see. Let's see. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus. Are you hip to Riz podcast? Them Tank people on YouTube, they come on at 9 p.m. I am not familiar. Send it to me on Instagram and I'll check it out. Thrill, if you choose any upcoming fight to attend for the free ski, which one are you attending? Define free ski. Does that mean somebody is paying for me to go to the fight, or are you talking about me streaming the fight for free? White, good boxer, but not a good fighter. Okay, we're talking about Devin. I'm taking it still in that response, in that comment. Slow grind, who you got in the Tank versus Martin fight? I got Tank all day. Tank all day. We talking about the difference between when a fight breaks out and a guy who is known for being a boxer not being able to translate into the current moment and what's going on and being able to fight fire with fire. I think that may be what we find ourselves in. I think Tank is actually going to break Frank down. I think we're going to see a little bit more IQ from Tank, and it's not any IQ that we haven't seen in the past, but I think going up against a boxer like Frank, I think it's going to pull it out of him and it's going to be a little bit more visible. But I definitely have Tank winning that fight. I'm going to go as far to say that Tank's going to win by knockout. I don't really know Frank's punch resistance. I really don't know if he can take Tank's power, with given the fact that Tank will be able to set the shot up nice. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, attended for the free. Should I attend every event for the free? Do I got to choose one? I would attend all of them. Free fights too? Or is this just free admission? It matters. The Boxing Menu Podcast Plus said Matias is a punching bag. Agreed. The only thing is that Matias' punch resistance is crazy. He could take a punch. Crazy. I thought that his last fight, how do you pronounce the guy's name? I can't pronounce it. But I thought he was going to lose. I thought that the other guy had more power, if not equal power. And I felt as though his punch output was higher than Matias. And I thought that it was going to get to Matias, but I was wrong. Matias took all that and basically said, okay, my turn. And walked this man down. Put it on him. White said, I was just about to tell you about the Riz podcast. You'll have some good combos with them. Yeah, like I said, definitely y'all shoot it in my DM. I'm going back over here to Instagram because I see a comment that I like. Brian Norman needs a fight in Atlanta. I agree. I think it makes sense. It may not be what he wants. It may not feel like it aligns with the goals, of headlining a title fight in Vegas, being the main card. But I think similar to what Tank did, there's a blueprint that he could follow there. Where Tank came to Atlanta, he fought Gamboa and he fought barrios back to back in the city of Atlanta and really built a following here, really built a fan base here. Like Tank got a solid fan base in Atlanta. I'm talking about solid. Like the city will come out and support him no matter what. If he flew into Atlanta right now and decided he just wanted to do like a meet and greet, the city's gonna come out. It's gonna be broadcasted all across radio networks. Everybody's gonna be talking about it. Casual people that don't even watch boxing is gonna be out. So I think that there is definitely an opportunity there, but at the end of the day, it's just up to his team and how that aligns with their goals and their vision. But Top Rank has a history of bringing black fighters to Atlanta, and they also have a history of bringing their either top challengers or guys who are interim title holders, such as Brian Norman, to their home cities to see how they sell a fight and basically to create some morale. So I would not be surprised if Top Rank has not already put it out there or is going to put it out there that he should come to Atlanta for his next fight. And I think allow for Atlanta to build him up so that he can go to Vegas and he can headline the main card, title fight, all those things the same way that Tank did it. That's all I'm saying. But who am I? Okay, let's see. What else y'all got? Slow grind. Jasmine got to get a show on ESPN. That would be clutch. I would love that. That would be a dream come true. Maybe in the future. I am not shy to say that I still have a long way to go in really developing my voice and becoming an even more hardcore fan of the sport of boxing and a student of the sport of boxing. But I appreciate you guys' love and what you've shown me so far. It's definitely been a boost to everything that I've been doing. Would you do a show with Max Kellerman? Is my name Jasmine or not? Hell yeah, I would do a show with Max Kellerman. Max has been silent though. I don't know what's going on with Max Kellerman. He's no longer on the State of Boxing. I don't know what he's doing. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. Brian Norman versus Conor Ben. Who wins? I think that would be a good fight for him to take and build his name up even more. Given a style of Conor Ben, it makes for a great fight with Brian Norman. And I think that's a very winnable fight for Norman versus Conor Ben. Definitely a winnable fight for him. I will give Norman the edge based on the performance that he just put up versus Satian to pull out a win versus Conor Ben. Hey, that might even be a good fight for them to go to Riyadh and fight. Okay, what do I think about the Adrian Broner and Blair Cobb fight? I don't think a whole lot about it at all. It's not really a fight that I'm interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing if AB is serious and if he can make a comeback, but it's one of those things that not until I tune in will I don't even want to use the word excited, but I just want to see him come back and be serious. Like at this point, he's cried wolf so many times that I'm just not on the bandwagon. Mac McKenzie, I watched a lot of Sugar Ray Robinson fights, and I still don't see what the hype is about. The man never threw feints, got dropped a whole bunch of times, and lost to someone like LaMotta. Okay, you got another comment with that. I think Floyd, Ray Leonard Hagler and Pac-Man will beat the dog out of Ray Robinson. That's outdated skill set. I mean, you're talking about multiple different eras, so it's a little hard to say and to comment off of. And this is a conversation that I had this past week with a friend, and we were talking about the different eras in boxing, specifically within the heavyweight division. And now that Usyk has beaten Anthony Joshua twice now and has become the undisputed heavyweight champion, defeating Tyson Fury, the question is he, one of the pound for pound great? Not is he is. But is he the best pound for pound heavyweight fighter? And I think that we have to, the same way that we look at basketball and other sports, like we have to consider the different eras that these guys fought in. And one of my counter arguments to that, and I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but I hope it makes sense. One of my counter arguments was Terrence Crawford. Now, granted, Terrence hasn't necessarily gone up against a lot of names that people want to see, that they feel would be matchups that, had he defeated them, would really, without a shadow of a doubt, make him the best pound for pound guy. But we know that Terrence has just not been able to get certain fights for various different reasons. But I feel like Terrence Crawford is the type of guy that has such a superior level IQ to anybody else when it comes to boxing, that he would be able to live and fight in different eras based on his IQ and being able to figure out how to be successful, how to be the better fighter. And let me say this a better way. I think given the IQ that Terrence Crawford has, I think that he would be an adaptable fighter that could fight in different eras and not have the same style. So, anybody else though, when it comes to fighting in different eras, I don't see a lot of fighters being able to, I don't see their styles being able to translate to different eras. So that's why I said all of that. Let's see, what else you guys have? Right, Pro Box fights are on Wednesday, and they are on tonight. I saw that they came on at 7:30. I had to push my live back from 7 to 8. My schedule has changed just a little bit. Now some other things going on. I definitely want to be able to catch those. I probably, obviously, have missed some fights already, but we'll need to go back and watch them. But yeah, Pro Box, you can't sleep on Pro Box Wednesday night fights. They have some good guys on there. Some good guys. All right, got about 5 more minutes and I'm going to jump off, guys. So if you have any questions, and nobody requested to come on today, I guess you guys enjoyed hearing my voice and me talking. But yeah, 5 more minutes and then I'm going to wrap this up. Thrill said Crawford beat some names. It's just when he beat those people, Crawford beat some names. It just when he beat them that people don't like to credit him for. Exactly. But I still hold true to what I said. Outspoken 50 Boxing said, I like Pro Box. I agree. I like it as well. Follow My Drift said, what do you think about the potential Garcia versus Spence? Which Garcia are we talking about? Excuse me. Yeah, which Garcia are we talking about? I would like to see Danny Garcia come back, since we're talking about Garcias. I feel like he teased us a little bit. He's been so inactive, though. I don't know what that fight would look like. But I wanted to see Danny Garcia come back and go up against Conor Benn. I think that that's a competitive fight, even with the inactivity of Danny Garcia. Slow Grind said, do you like the street boxing and grassroots boxing or just professional? So I'm definitely more tapped into professional boxing. Street boxing is a little bit too raw for me. A little bit too rough for my liking. But grassroots boxing, I do enjoy. I haven't been to the gym in a while, but there's definitely been times where I would just go to the gym and there's a lot of amateur fighters there that I'll just watch train. So definitely not against grassroots, into grassroots, but I focus majority of my attention onto professional boxing. Thrill said Danny Garcia will beat Connor ass. I I think so too. Not it's some boxing in Bakersfield, California that you would like. I'm gonna send it to you. What you talking about? Street fights? I can't take. It's a little too violent for me. Street fights are just a little too violent and wild. Street boxing. What's the difference between street boxing and street fights? Do they have gloves on? I am Chip said Ryan keep promoting it. Ryan keeps promoting what? Throw they be having a ring in the backyard. Yeah, nah. Count me out. That's the type of shit that turns into a gunfight real quick. And it'd be the cameraman to get fucked up. Excuse my language. Dr. Rain's padding versus no padding, horsehair gloves. Ray Robinson stops everyone, including Crawford, but Floyd is like Jordan in gloves. Really? Y'all, why y'all don't put no respect on Crawford's name, and I don't understand. I don't understand why not. I'm sticking behind my word and saying that Crawford will give it out in any era. A fighter that I think can adapt to different styles and can be a key player in any era. The Boxing Menu Plus said, I want to see Bud versus Boots. I'm reading some other comments. Yeah. I think we all want to see that fight. I think that fight is on the same level as Canelo versus Benavidez, which I think. Thrill Usyk #1 pound for pound, but Bud the best in the world. Okay, how you do that then? How Bud is going to be the best in the world, but you got Usyk as the #1 pound for pound? So are you going off of accomplishments? You got to break that down for me. By the way, if you guys don't follow Thrill Boxing, do yourself a favor and follow him on Instagram. He keeps you updated in all of the boxing news. I'm talking about boxing news, upcoming fights, Instagram, Twitter wars, all that stuff. He got you. And then he also does his own pound for pound rankings. And he has some stipulations and some criteria as to how he comes up with these rankings. So definitely check him out. Thrill Boxing on Instagram. My guy be on it. Because we're at 9 o'clock, we'll save who are my top 5 GOATs for the next live. White said, how can heavyweight really be considered a pound for pound? I don't know. Oh, how can a heavyweight? I mean, when you think about Usyk, though, I think Usyk's a little bit... Usyk and Fury, they are definitely the best top current active pound for pound guys when you look at the heavyweight division and you look at the full scope of their game. That's why I think that they're able to be ranked top pound for pound guys, because they're not, it's just not a slugfest out there. So yeah. But anyways, I appreciate you guys jumping on live with me today and chatting. I'm going to download this to YouTube. So if you want to go back and share it with somebody else, if you haven't liked already, please do like And catch me next Wednesday, 7 p.m. If it's not 7 p.m., I'll let you guys know. But for the most part, catch me same time Wednesday next week as we talk boxing with your girl, Jasmine K. Thank y'all again so much for coming on live. I appreciate it. Make sure that you are subscribed if you aren't already. Hit the notification bell so if I do change the time, you guys will be updated as to when that time change occurs and when I go live so that you could just click the link and tune in. All right, y'all. Be safe, stay dangerous, and I will see y'all next time.